Well, hello everyone, and welcome to our annual installation and membership meeting. I'm Teresa Harvey, President and CEO of the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce, and today we celebrate our 125th anniversary of our chamber supporting business for regional economic success. As we wait for a couple more of our presenters to come on board, I'd like to have share with you a couple messages from tonight's sponsors of our meeting, Southern California Edison and First American Credit Union.
We'll get back to the road trips, the birthday parties, and gnarly barrels, movies with friends, dance parties, and date nights. But right now, we've still got work to do. Because we know how important electricity is to all of us, and we're taking that very seriously. While we're all waiting to get back to who and what we love, we're here for you, with programs and services that can help during this difficult period. In the meantime, we'll be out here doing our job, so that you can keep doing yours.
So many Americans live paycheck to paycheck. One unexpected expense can cause them major financial difficulties. Big Price Savings is a savings account that's offered by American First Credit Union that rewards savers with the opportunity to win significant cash prizes, up to $50,000, just for saving their money.
On the count of 3, let's tell him how much he won. 1, 2, 3. $50,000!
What? What? Yeah. No, you're kidding.
Congratulations, let's all cheer for him.
Well, congratulations,
Thank you very
Nick.
much, sir.
On behalf of American First Credit Union, we're so happy that you're our first annual Big Prize Savings winner of $50,000. And thank you for your long-time membership with the credit unions and your faithful dedication to saving money. And even the $50,000 you're going to put in the account to save. And hopefully that will motivate other people who are watching this to say, I want to save too, I want to be like Nick. So thank you for motivating all of us, Nick.
I'm still dreaming. I'm not having woke up from my dream. They won't believe me when I told them tell them how much I won. I was looking at a 55 Chevy hardtop. Put a big engine in those.
And this is the culmination of that. To be able to give away $50,000, we think it's going to motivate more people to want to save money and to build for their future. And that's why we're excited about it today.
Thank you again to Southern California Edison and America's First Credit Union for your longtime support. I'd like to welcome all of our members, our sponsors, our past presidents, our board of directors, and the rest of you to our program this evening. 125 is definitely a reason to celebrate. Starting to assist businesses in downtown Fullerton at the turn of the century, times have certainly changed. But our support of the businesses, large and small, continues. So we really want to have a little bit of a virtual celebration. So grab a glass, water, cocktails, we've got them all, and sit back to a premier chamber visual celebration. We want to make sure you stay through the entire program. So in chamber fashion, we have a drawing planned at the end of our program tonight. But to start, I would first like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies this evening, the Mayor of Fullerton and good friend of the Chamber, Jennifer Fitzgerald. Jennifer Fitzgerald was elected to the Fullerton City Council in November 2012 and served as Mayor Pro Tem in 2014 and 15, and the Mayor in 2015 and 16, and now again. In her years in office, Mayor Fitzgerald has played a key role in several significant accomplishments, including a $3.5 million retroactive fund of water rate overcharges, public safety reform, a substantial increase in funding the repairs to the city's aging roads and water infrastructure, adoption of new transparency policies for every public employee negotiation, and more. I'm most proud, however, that prior to being elected to office, Jennifer served as the chair of the board of directors of the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce. Jennifer, welcome to our celebration.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate being here tonight. I think most of you on this call probably know this, but I love the chamber. I love business owners. You are the engine that makes America work, and I admire you so much for what you do. And it's really my pleasure, even in these crazy times. I was describing this to somebody earlier today. We're planning on getting together, and I said, let's just pretend for a little bit that the world didn't fall off its axis this year. And that's just kind of how I feel. It's just been a real surreal experience, I know, for all of you too, not just with your families, but with your businesses. And I know that you're all, you are entrepreneurs. And so I'm sure we'll hear from Garry later about how entrepreneurs pivot and how they adapt to success. And I'm really excited to hear that with you. But we are excited tonight to give the good news. That's another thing, I mean, in this, in this crisis that we've been in, I've loved about this chamber, that it's been dedicated to not only supporting its members, but sharing the good news that our members have been a part of in our communities, like Two Saucy Broads, who have their Buy a Shirt, Give a Pizza campaign, where they've delivered pizza to 6 Fullerton fire stations, 8 Fullerton schools, and to St. Jude Medical Center for frontline workers, like the Fullerton Rotary Club that sponsored face shields for St. Jude Hospital staff and employees, nursing homes, and more. They started with a grant from their district governor, and they've made, they have made over 60,000 face shields. It is an amazing feat, and they've gotten Rotary clubs from all across their district involved in this. I got the chance to be with Dan and Susan Alene and their other members as they assembled masks one day. And it is inspiring to see how a manufacturer like Dan took his know-how, took his designers, and created a brand new program to meet the needs of today. I also love to talk about this too, the Sci-Fi Network. The Sci-Fi Network is a provider that is installing the highest speed internet access, fiber, into every city street in Fullerton. We will be the first in the nation city to have the highest speed 5G internet access in the city of Fullerton. And Sci-Fi, not only are they continuing to do business in Fullerton and laying that fiber, but they partnered with the Fullerton School District and donated a total of 1,200 tacos to schools. Also joining in the spirit of community togetherness, Simple Greek, JP23, and Subway were among the businesses that also served students of our schools throughout this crisis. And then I would also mention that through the past 3 months, the Holiday Inn of Buena Park kept its doors open to house healthy members of our first responder teams and our medical staff who needed a place to self-isolate or simply recharge. And those are just a few of the amazing ways that our community, your community of business owners and members, has shown that they're stronger together in this time of adversity. And at the end of the day, it's the people who decide how we each choose to act in our troubling times. And all of you have chosen to act in kindness toward one another, and I applaud you for that. It is all about the people, and that's a message that's shared in our community. And now it's a message that's being shared by our keynote speaker. Garry Ridge is the chairman and chief executive officer of WD-40 Company. You all use it, right? I know I do. It's a staple in my house. He is responsible for developing and implementing high-level strategies, operations, and oversight of all relationships and partnerships for his company. Garry is passionate about learning and empowering organizational culture that he's established at the WD-40 Company, and his vision and leadership have positively impacted the WD-40 Company in both measurable and immeasurable and invaluable ways. Garry's also the co-author of a book with Ken Blanchard outlining his effective leadership techniques, and it's entitled Helping People Win at Work, a business philosophy called Don't Mark My Paper, Help Me Get an A. Now to share his impactful message, it's all about the people. I'm so happy and honored to introduce to you Garry Ridge.
Hey, thank you, Jennifer. That was a very nice intro. I prefer to introduce myself as the consciously incompetent and probably wrong and roughly right CEO of WD-40 Company. So I hope you can all see my screen, and I'd like to take you on a little bit of a journey today to tell you why it's so important to have a highly engaged workforce, particularly in this time. Greetings from just down the road here in San Diego, and I've got a number of friends up in Fullerton and have been visited the university and some of the small business people there a few times with my buddy Ed Hart, who I know is probably watching today as well. So my quick story to you is it's all about the people. Something that I believe is really true is that pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. Well, you know, we're pretty slow learners because Aristotle actually said this in 384 BC. And I want to introduce you to someone that I'm not that friendly with. This is Al, the soul-sucking CEO. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Al's behaviors and what Al creates, which is not a atmosphere where people actually enjoy going to work. In fact, Al is probably responsible for the fact that 67% of people who go to work each day don't like, and many hate their jobs, and most of them don't like their boss. So, you know, Al would probably ask this question: what if we invest in our people and they leave? Thank goodness a servant leader would say, what if we don't invest in our people and they stay? Here's the model that we've used for over 20 years at WD-40 Company. We believe there are 4 things you need to be successful in an organization. The first one is people. The second one is purpose, then passion and products. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the elements of that with you today. We are a people-driven organization, so we call ourselves a tribe, not a team. We have a true purpose, a why. Our values are put in place to set people free and keep them safe. We must have a strategy, and we need to have great execution and tactics. And of course, we're a learning organization. We say all the time, we don't make mistakes, we have learning moments. So what's important about this model? A lot of organizations get out of balance where they spend a disproportionate amount of time on planning, strategy, and execution tactics to the time they should be spending equally around building a tribal culture, having a clear purpose, having values, and being a learning organization. And this model sits on 4 pillars of care, candor, accountability, and responsibility. Care is about having empathy eat ego instead of ego eating empathy. And one of the big killers of great leadership is when it's all about you, the leader, instead of all about the people. Simon Sinek says leadership is not about being in charge. Leadership is about taking care of the people in your charge. Candor to us is no lying, no faking, and no hiding. I believe most people don't lie, but I believe people fake and hide because of fear. So it's our job as leaders to take fear out. Accountability. One of the main factors in play when we let people down is because we're not clear about what we expect from each other. What can I expect from you? What can you expect from me? And are we prepared to hold each other accountable? And then finally, responsibility. And we have a great thing called the Maniac Pledge that I'm going to share with you soon around accountability. So I have an algorithm that I'll share with you on how to build a great culture in the organization. And here it is. Culture equals, and the equal sign means what happens when, values plus behavior are done consistently. So with a clear set of values and with a true love for your people that gives you the courage and makes you brave enough to be able to redirect behavior, and you do it consistently, you can build a very strong cultures within an organization. We don't have managers at WD-40 Company. We call ourselves coaches. And it really aligns with our book in that we're not here to mark your paper, we're here to help you get an A. And what's the role of a coach? A coach's job is to spend time in the locker room and be on the sideline, observing the game and ready to help improve the play. Too many managers run onto the field and try and play the game for their people. And too many managers are often seen at the podium picking up the prize instead of being the coach in the background. I don't think I've ever seen Tiger Woods' coach wear the green jacket, but Tiger Woods' coach is very much part of what happens. So reducing fear is so important in an organization. And as I said, we don't make mistakes, we have learning moments. And what's the definition of a learning moment? A learning moment is a positive or negative outcome of any situation that has to be openly and freely shared to benefit all people. So taking the word failure out opens the door to learning. And here's what learning really is. Meaningful learning is both a formal education and real life experiences. Education is when you read the fine print or the small print. Experience is when you don't. When you bring both of those together, you get learning. And from learning, you get knowledge. And if you put knowledge to work, you get wisdom. So we believe that learning is a process of both education and experience to bring the learning together. We have a just cause at WD-40 Company. Our just cause is to help make life better at home and at work. At home and at work for the people who come to work at our tribe every day, and at home and at work for those who use our products. So our just cause is tied closely to both our tribe and to the customers that we serve. Our purpose, this is an interesting one. Before I was on lockdown and not able to travel the world, WD-40 sells in 176 countries around the world, and I'm usually traveling about 200,000 air miles a year. But when I sit on airplanes and people ask me, what do? I tell them, well, I'm in the memories business. Because being in the memories business is much more exciting than selling oil in a can. And it's really linked to our purpose. Our purpose is we exist to create positive, lasting memories in everything we do. We solve problems, we make things work smoothly, and we create opportunities. And more importantly, how do we do that? We create positive, lasting memories by cultivating a tribal culture of learning and teaching, which produces a highly engaged workforce who use our company's products every day, who live our company's values every day. And our mission, of course, is to make the wonderful products that we sell in 176 countries around the world. Our values are a cornerstone of our organization. People like us do things like this is what we mean by our values. And here are our values. Our values are hierarchical. The number one value is has a heavier weight than the last value. Now, you would think that being a publicly listed company, as we are on the NASDAQ stock exchange with a value of about $2.5 billion, that our number one value would be to make money. Wrong. Our number one value is we value doing the right thing. So we believe that a profit is the applause of people doing great work. And let me give you an example why hierarchical values are important. If our only number one value was to make money, one of our mandatories in the company is that we will have no cancer-causing chemicals in any product we make. No Prop 65 warnings on anything. Now, if that value wasn't important to us to do the right thing, we could choose to use chemicals that are Prop 65 that are actually less expensive than the ones we use. So we'd be more profitable. But if we did that, we wouldn't be meeting our second value, which is we value creating positive, lasting memories in all of our relationships. So Our values are there not to in any way do anything else but set people free. We say in our company, you can make any decision you like in our company as long as you take our why, our how, and our what into consideration when you're doing that. Here's our Maniac Pledge, the one about responsibility. Let me share it with you. It's great. Look at the first three words. I am responsible. I am responsible for taking action, asking questions, getting answers, and making decisions. I won't wait for someone to tell me. If I need to know, I'm responsible for asking. I have no right to be offended that I didn't get this sooner. And if I'm doing something others should know about, I am responsible for telling them. This is the pledge we all take within the organization, which is the pledge of responsibility. We call ourselves a tribe, not a team. Why? One of the biggest desires we have as human beings is to belong. It's sad, but probably true that everybody who is on this webinar today has either left a company, a party, or even a relationship because they didn't feel like they belong. Why do people leave organizations? They don't feel like they belong. My friend Ken Blanchard says, it's often a shame that the only way people know they're doing a good job in their organizations because nobody yelled at them today. That's not the way we think about belonging in the organization. So why do we call ourselves a tribe? And what's the definition? At WD-40 Company, we call our employees tribe members. As individuals and as an organization, we aspire to live up to the behaviors of a tribe. For us, a self-sustaining and codependent tribe share common attributes such as values, knowledge, celebration, ceremony, and a strong sense of belonging. Each tribe member is recognized for their specialized skills and their contributions to the benefit of the greater good of the tribe. Through these efforts, a tribal culture becomes a self-sustaining place where people want to stay and grow. And I love Sebastian Junger's definition, which is would be a group of people you both help feed and help defend. And that's how we come together as a tribe. So as you could tell by my accent, I'm not necessarily originally from the United States, although I've been here since 1994. My homeland is Australia. So we studied the attributes of the Indigenous Australians and the Fiji Islanders to see what were the attributes that were important. And this is really also based on Maslow's hierarchy to self-actualization. In most organizations, they provide both security and sustenance to be able to survive, but it's this third run of belonging or love where we fall down. So let me take you on a quick journey from North Orange County down to Australia, and let's go back thousands of years to the center of Australia, and let's be observing a tribal meeting of the Indigenous Australians. And what we would find there is the tribal leader sitting around with the tribe members. And what would that tribal leader be doing? He would be teaching the young tribe members to throw a boomerang. Now, if any of you have ever tried to throw a boomerang, you'll know it's not a real easy thing to do. But way back then, if you couldn't throw a boomerang, you wouldn't survive because it was the hunting tool of survival. So the number one responsibility of a tribal leader, is to be a learner and a teacher. Exactly what we're about as we lead. Our number one responsibility is to learn and to teach our tribe. And number two attribute is values. We've spoken about the importance of values. 3 is belonging. The next one is future focus. Great tribes look into the future. And a great example of that as we speak is, the seismic change that's happening in buying habits of consumers through the impact of COVID. We've all, even whether we like it or not, we've all now become somewhat comfortable with buying online, picking up at the store, or shipping it to our house. As organizations, we had to be prepared for that. We're fortunate that 2 years ago, our future focus was we could see this coming. It just happened quicker because of COVID. So we equipped ourselves to be a lethal weapon in the e-commerce area. And now our e-commerce business is blooming because of us taking that future focus. There's specialized skills, we're warriors, and of course we want to celebrate. So let me share the attributes that Al doesn't have. And these are the attributes of leadership that we should all be aware of. The first one is great leaders involve and love their people. The three most powerful words I learned many, many years ago were I don't know. And involving the people, they've got the answers. The second one is leaders are always in servant leadership mode. We're here to serve the people. If we take care of our people will take care of our customers, and our customers will take care of our shareholders. Leaders are expected to be competent. That's why we link learning and teaching together. Leaders are connected with emotional intelligence. This is really where empathy eats ego instead of ego eating empathy. Leaders love learning moments. Leaders have a heart of gold and a backbone of steel. Leaders are champions of hope. Leaders know micromanagement is not scalable. Leaders do what they say they're going to do. And leaders treasure the gift of feedback. So I want to tell you a little story about feedback. And first, let me put a picture up here. So this picture is a picture of my mum. Mum lived to 99 years and 9 months old. She only passed away about 6 years ago. She lived in the family home for 72 years. And I used to go visit her around her birthday every year. And as she got older, and she lived in the same house till she was 97, we only had to put her in some care after that. But I'd call her up and I'd let her know, hey, Mum, I'm coming down to see you for your birthday. And as she got a little older, her memory, faded somewhat. And she'd say, well, when are you coming, dear? I said, I'm coming next week. Oh, okay. What time will you be here? I'll be there in the morning and on Wednesday. Okay, dear, I'll have a cup of tea waiting for you, as mums do. So I'd get to LA airport and I'd call her when I was ready to board the plane, and I'd say, hey, Mum, I'm on my way. Oh, when are you coming, dear? Well, I'm coming. I'll be there tomorrow morning. Okay, what time? I'll be there about 7:30 in the morning. Okay, I'll have a cup of tea for you when you arrive, or maybe some breakfast. Mum, don't worry, everything will be fine. So I get on the plane and fly to Sydney, and if you've ever done that flight, that plane lands at 6:30 in the morning. So I'd get in my car and I'd drive out to our family home, and I'd go to put my key in the front door, and exactly the same thing would happen as used to happen when I was 18 years old, coming home at 2 o'clock in the morning after being out partying with my mates in Sydney. The door would fly open and she'd say, where the hell have you been? You're late, get inside. So we'd walk, and so we'd walk into the kitchen, and there would be the kettle that was always on the stove, and there's the kitchen table that had a tablecloth on it. It was plastic. The top of the tablecloth was faded white. The side still had the floral design on it. And Mum would say, sit down, Garry, and there's only 2 words you have to know when your mum's 97. Those 2 words are yes, Mum. So, would you like a cup of tea, dear? No, Mum. Bang, you got a cup of tea whether you wanted it or not. Would you like some breakfast, dear? No. Bang, you got breakfast whether you liked it or not. And then Mum would walk around the other side of the table, and she'd always have that hat on that I'm showing you there. She'd have a white nightie with a pink dressing gown, and she'd go to sit on the other side of the table. But first, what I would hear would be the sound of the chair pulling on the ground, which was my signal that I was about to get my well-deserved dose of feedback, or what I would call unconditional love. And Mum would sit down and she'd say, now there's a few things we need to talk about, dear. And what would that be, Mum? Well, it was your brother's birthday a week ago and your birthday card arrived late. That's not satisfactory. And did you know that your nephew won in his soccer game 2 weeks ago and you didn't call up? Oh, and by the way, Auntie Mari's been in hospital and you didn't send her a card. And it's like, oh, yes, Mum, yes, Mum, yes, Mum. So why am I sharing this story with you? Because in business, we have to be mums and sons. We have to be in a position where unconditional love means sharing with the people we lead the things that they really need to know. And as a son in business, we have to know 2 words, just like I knew with my mum. And in feedback, those 2 words are thank you. But how often when people are giving us feedback, number 1, we're not listening. And number 2, our brain goes into this automatic, you're wrong, let me rebut you. How are we going to learn from that? So my message and my learning moment from my mum was, when you receive feedback and when you give it with love and receive it with thanks. I really actually love this quote that I found, and I'm sure it will resonate with you. When your mother asks, do you want a piece of advice? This is a mere formality. It doesn't matter if you answer yes or no, you're gonna get it anyway. And I think that's so true. So, summing up, imagine a place where you go to work each day, making a contribution to something bigger than yourself. You learn something new, you feel safe and protected, and you provided freedom by a set of values and you go home happy. That's what we envisage. Has this worked? Yes, it has. We've been doing employee opinion surveys at our company for 20 years. This is the results of our current employee opinion survey that we did that was in March this year. We have an employee engagement of 93% compared to the national average in the United States of 33%. The number one question is, I love to tell people I work at WD-40 company, 98%. I know what results are expected of me, 95%. Remember, one of the pillars I said was accountability. So people know what's expected of them. And if they know what's expected of them, there's a chance that A, they'll achieve it, and B, will reward them. I feel my opinions and values are a good fit with WD-40 company, 90% culture, 97%. I respect my coach. Now, remember who the coach is. That's their boss. It doesn't say they like, they actually respect. 97% of people of our tribe members say they respect their coach. And 94% are excited about our future. So it's not about just creating an organization with a high culture, but what does that culture deliver? Well, by the way, over the past 18 years, we have 4x'd plus our revenue, and we have had a compounded annual growth rate of total shareholder return of about 15% a year. So our market cap 20 years ago was around $300 million. Today, it's $2.5 billion. Why? Because it's all about the people at the company, because at the end of the day, we just sell oil in a can. Well, no, we don't. We exist to create positive, lasting memories by solving problems in factories, homes, and workshops of the world, and we do it with a tribe of people who love what they do every day. I truly believe, and we have proven, that purpose-driven, passionate people guided by their values create amazing outcomes. And I'll finish with my favorite slide from Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Thank you for letting me share with you. Congratulations on your 125th anniversary, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your virtual celebration. I will now go and join you in a virtual celebration with a cold glass of Chardonnay downstairs and end my day. So a pleasure being with you, Jennifer. Thank you so much. Teresa, thank you so much.
Gary, I can't thank you enough. In the real world where our world is still on its axis, you would get a standing ovation and they would yell encore. So I just want to thank you so much. I mean, what you said for me is really inspirational, especially, I mean, your mom's precious. Oh my goodness. And my husband is English and he had a nanny who would always say, Shawnee, would you like a cup of tea? So I completely identify with that. And your illustration about moms and sons, you know, I mean, what a different, if we all just think about what a different world we would live in if in all of our organizations, we were like moms and children, right? I mean, it would be different. So thank you so much. I wanted to take a picture of your slide of servant leadership and all the traits of that servant leader. I hope I'll be able to get a copy of it. I bet everyone would like that. So again, thank you so much for being with us today. It's truly is an honor.
Thank you. And I'll be happy to send a PDF of the whole presentation down to Teresa, and she can share it out with anybody who wants it. And
that's great. Okay.
Delighted to do that.
You may think you just sell oil in a can, but you're changing the world for your employees and your customers. And you just changed my world a little bit. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So my Chardonnay I already have. Cheers.
Cheers.
And Teresa, I want to know who's on this call with us. So let's bring everybody up so we can see everybody's smiling faces. And Garry, you're more than welcome to stay with us as long as you want to, and you're more than welcome to go get your glass of wine.
Thank you. Take care.
Yep.
Thank you, Garry.
Let's see. Teresa is bringing up all the people that are on the call, and I'm going full screen here. Look at this. Close to 60 participants. I love it. Now I feel like it's romper room because I see Al Napoli. I love it. I see James Ripley and Jim and Sally and Alex Barola. Look at Katie Savant and Alan Abutin. Wow, I love it. This is fantastic. Look at how many pages do we have here? Teresa, I know you're talented, but I don't know how you're going to get a picture of 2 pages worth of people.
I guarantee you it's my great team behind the scenes doing this because I can barely click a mouse.
That's fantastic. So I don't know how everyone's screen, how active everyone's screen is, but I would just remind everyone if Teresa's team has given you the mute button, please keep yourself on mute unless you're speaking, so we don't hear any feedback. And even though I am completely sick of Zoom, this is officially my favorite Zoom of quarantine. So thanks for being a part of that. I love it. I want to introduce my friend, my insurance broker, and the outgoing board chair, Michael Williams. Michael, as you know, well, his lovely wife is sitting right there, I see. Michael served on the Chamber's Board of Directors for 6 years. He is leading a family-owned business as president of Williams Insurance. He enjoys participating in many different aspects of our community, of course, and is a leader. Recently, he added the most important title he'll ever have until he's a grandpa, and that's dad. Please now help me. I think now that we all do have control of our screens, can we all give a virtual clap or something? We must all be able to do that. But raise a hand, raise a glass to Michael Williams. And you must unmute yourself. There you go.
Yay, I'm capable of unmuting myself these days. Very well trained in the Zoom arts. So thank you, Jennifer, and thank you, Garry. That was an amazing presentation, and I think the Chamber is extremely privileged to have him come in and speak. One of the best presentations I've heard in a long time at one of our events, and so that was fantastic. I did something a little different today because I thought we've all been at home too much, and so I'm gonna start off by thanking everyone for being here. And you saw my wife, Caitlin, a second ago. We are so accustomed to visiting the Summit House for this event that we thought we would come over and grab a cocktail for nostalgia's sake. So I'm gonna lift my phone up and you can see that we are actually at the Summit House today. And we are having a cocktail and enjoying ourselves and the beautiful background and sipping away at my mobile data without any concern. So, but I figured since we're here, I would share the background with you guys momentarily. This year has certainly been a unique one, and I want to immediately thank the Chamber staff for showing the skill and leadership over the last 12 months. When I spoke last year, I challenged them to be flexible and take a new approach. But little did I know that the final form would look like this today. Prior to COVID, we were able to hold a number of very successful events and programs. In August, we held our reception honoring our elected officials, where we were able to thank them for their service to the citizens of North Orange County and recognize our Chamber Circle members who graciously support the Chamber and its mission year in and year out. In the fall, Cal State Fullerton hosted our State of North Orange County, where we focused on smart development and its impact on the business community. The guest speakers included Supervisor Doug Chafee and the President of CSUF, Fran Burgee. Following our speakers, the program included a panel titled Digital Communities, Smart Cities, Changing the Way We Work. And how fortuitous of a topic that was as we sit here all on our computers and phones over the internet. The panelists included Amir Dabirian, Vice President of IT for CSUF Fullerton, Ben Batry-Jobson, CEO of Sci-Fi Networks, who was mentioned earlier, in Fullerton Fiber City, one of the most exciting projects that have come through Fullerton in a long time, and I'm just so happy that that is happening for our town. Jim Vanderpool, City Manager at City of Buena Park, and Ken Domer, City Manager in City of Fullerton. That was a wonderful presentation, and it really took that conversation to the next point for a lot of members of the town and our surrounding region of what the future could hold if we focus on advancing our current situation, which I think is going to be vital going forward, as we can see where we're at now. So, in our last major in-person event prior to going remote, there was a fantastic collaboration between the North Orange County Chamber and the Brea, Yorba Linda, and Corona Chambers, in which Dr. Chris Thornburg presented his economic forecast. The event was attended by over 300 individuals and held at the Nixon Library, beautiful venue. My first time being there in a number of years, and just a reminder of how great it is to have something in our backyard that is that valuable. Dr. Thornburg provided an in-depth update on our economic prospects of the nation and our local economic outlook at the time. Obviously, we had some unprecedented times following that, but the basis of what he spoke about has come true, that fundamentally we were on a very good path, and our ability to weather the storm has been better than predicted. Although I know that it's been a difficult time for a lot of folks. I think the future can ultimately be bright. Sorry about the noise. So I'm gonna transition now to our next event that was supposed to happen, take a brief moment and provide a little update on the SHE conference. This has been a fantastic program that has continued to grow and become more powerful each year. One of, I think, the best new programs that the Chamber has put on in a long time. Unfortunately, it was postponed, but I'm happy to let everyone know that all our original scheduled speakers will participate in a virtual series that we're entitling SHE Talks. The first talk will be launching on August 20th, so stay tuned with that. This year's speakers are going to be a testament to the power of this program and the power of our region and community. So I'm going to scroll and see here. We've done so many events, I have to make sure I touch them all. Additionally, our larger programs, we've also been holding a number of very successful networking events, including our summer mixer at the Fullerton College, the Fullerton Business Mixer the Fall Business Mixer, excuse me, at Mrs. Knott's Chicken Dinner Restaurant, and the Winter Mixer co-hosted at the Fullerton Museum. And finally, we're getting to one of the things that I am just so happy about, and I think I touched at the beginning of this year on, is our LEADS program. Really had a thriving and growing program with this, and we've gone from 1 to 2 groups, and they continue to meet weekly via Zoom. And I think this is such a valuable program for the individuals and companies that are involved, and I know that there's going to be a significant impact for the participants and the Chamber. It's extremely valuable that we continue to support and assist the growing and fledgling businesses in the town, and the LEADS program has done that very well. And then finally, our leadership program and workforce development program, they continue to engage and connect members of our community. Our young future leaders are provided access and a path to convene with each other and the leaders of today. They can discuss new ideas and chart a path forward for themselves and our community. Extremely important work that the Chamber is doing setting up a future of economic success. So we've done a lot of positive things, and I know this year has been a roller coaster with ups and downs. It has certainly been a difficult time for many, but the Chamber has never been more important. And the conviction and leadership on a local and regional level are needed. The Chamber has pivoted to focusing on being an informative source for business resources. They're staying on top of all of the up-to-date information in a rapidly changing dynamic. Every day is something new, something different. And the organization continues to focus on the importance of shopping local to support our restaurants and our businesses that have been severely impacted by the virus. But our business community has come together and shown what supporting one another is capable of. I'm very, very proud of all the efforts that the staff, the board have made with regard to adapting and assisting, and our community as a whole has really shown that they care about each other. And certainly COVID is not our only challenge. Right now, differences will always seek to pull at the strings of what bind us, but in that struggle, we can choose to allow it to tear at the fabric of our society, or we can use it to tighten the bonds that make us one. And I am hopeful that our community and our country will progress through these difficult times. And in the end, we can look at this moment to define who we are and where we are going. And it is obvious that we are so much stronger together than we are apart. So I want to thank you for attending, and I want to thank Teresa for her leadership, and thank the board for allowing me the opportunity to serve as your chair, and thank the membership for supporting this valuable community asset. Greatly appreciate it. We have had a number of individuals who have been on this board for a long time and provided a lot of insight and feedback and direction as we have traversed quite a transition over the last 6 years. And I just think to what my first board meeting looked like to what it looks like now, and it's certainly a growing and different organization. So Chris DeCaro from Needle, thank you. Helen Elagio, Farmers and Merchants Bank, you both have been fantastic board members. In addition, we also have Kelly Lee from Southern California Edison. Congratulations to her. She has taken on some new roles and done some fantastic things, and so I appreciate her time. And finally, Kevin Pendergraft, Credit Union Southern California, who has been involved with this chamber for many, many years and many different roles, and really have valued his insight on the community and what he's brought to the table, and I greatly appreciate him being a part of it for so long.
Awesome. Thanks, Michael. Thanks again for your service. And on behalf of the city of Fullerton, I want to give you a virtual certificate to say thank you for your service and your leadership. And of course, we know that you're gonna become the immediate past chair, and you're just so way too deep into this community to go anywhere. So we're glad that you'll spend the requisite time off the board that is required, and then we know you'll be right back on. So thanks in advance for agreeing to that. Teresa, sign them up right now. With that, we'll go ahead and move on to what is my next pleasure, and that's to install the leadership that's going to guide the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce for the next year and beyond. These leaders have accepted willingly. We had to, we didn't have to twist any arms. They've accepted the role of being the voices of business in our region, as this organization does continue to be a catalyst for business growth and positive change. It's really a convener of leaders and influencers that will make things happen throughout the next year, and that will be a champion for stronger communities. So I want to go ahead and introduce first the officers and members of the executive committee to you. Our chair of the board is Dr. Cherry Li Bugg of the North Orange County Community College District. Our chair-elect is April Barnes of the Speech and Language Development Center. Our vice chair of finance is the Venerable Jim Ripley, RAI Wealth Management. Our vice chair, as well as Josie Monero of At Work Personnel Services. We also have executive committee member at large, Dr. Su-Ling Chen of the Arborland Education Center. And of course, our past chair, Michael Williams of Williams Insurance. Let me introduce to the remainder of the board members, Tammy Bowie of Cal State Fullerton, Alex Barola of FSB Public Affairs, Carrie Clark of Roundtree Gardens, Drew Ann Copping of St. Jude Medical Center, Jessica Fernandez, who's a new board member and is with Southern California Edison, Emily Grant, a very familiar face with Southern California Gas Company. And tonight I want to shout out Owen because she has a special guest with her tonight, her son Owen, who's cheering on his mom. And as we know, like I said about Michael, having the title of dad or mom's the best title in the world. And kids like Owen make us feel really special every day. So hi, Owen, we're glad you're here with us. We also have Stan Kwok of Voight Real Estate Services. We have Andrea Reyes of American First Credit Union, who's a new board member. Javier Solis, another very familiar face with the Holiday Inn of Buena Park. Danielle Thomas of Professional Search Group is a new board member this year, and we're glad to have you. And Katie Wanamaker, I call her Miss Buena Park, I don't know, but she's officially with the Source OC. So representing this membership of the growing organization that spans the cities of Buena Park, Fullerton, La Palma, Stanton, and beyond is no small task. And the Chamber has adopted a strategic plan for the organization to guide the members and our board. And these initiatives included, the included initiatives represent the interests of the business community, as well as our region's rich diversity. And they include relationships that cross ethnic, age, and gender boundaries. With the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce, we're dedicated to building cities and promoting an economically strong region without geographic limitations. Our advocacy as we unite our voices to influence decision makers and present solutions and ideas for concern that arise in the community and throughout the region. And finally, workforce development, realizing the business community needs employees prepared for the 21st century global economy. The Chamber is working to facilitate relationships between businesses and educators to develop a highly qualified, well-educated workforce. And I'm gonna do something really daring and ask all the board members to unmute yourselves, including Emily with Owen sitting right there, because we need to hear you as you say yes to the following. Whereas the mission of North Orange County Chamber to support businesses for regional economic success. Do you agree to provide leadership as the Chamber strives to be the leading advocate and resource for the business community? And do you agree to uphold the organization's values of integrity and innovation? Owen, let's hear it.
Woo! Yes.
Yes. Awesome. That's fantastic. And with that, I now present the 2020-21 Board of Directors of the North Orange County Chamber of Commerce.
Yay!
Fantastic. Virtual round of applause. Hands in the air. Good job, Owen. Way to go. Now it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of your board for 2020-2021, Dr. Li Bugg will serve as your chair for the new year. A new year that is full of uncertainties and uncharted waters and immense opportunity. Dr. Li Bugg serves currently as the Vice Chancellor of Education Services and Technologies for the North Orange County Community College District, serving Fullerton College, Cypress College, and North Orange County Continuing Education. Charting new waters is nothing new for her, and she'll certainly apply all her knowledge and problem-solving abilities as she enters this new chapter of leadership. So let me now introduce to you your new chair of the board, Li Bugg.
Good evening and welcome. I am Dr. Li Bugg. My daytime job, as you know, is serving as Vice Chancellor of Educational Services and Technology for the North Orange County Community College District, a premier community college district with Cypress College and Fullerton College and North Orange Continuing Education, literally in your backyard. We welcome any opportunity to work with you all for your workforce education and training needs. Please reach out anytime. Before I make my brief remarks, allow me to acknowledge my Educational Services and Technology team from my district who are present this evening to support me. I want to specifically acknowledge the presence of Dr. Joanna Schilling, President of Cypress College, and Ms. Irma Ramos, our District Vice Chancellor of Human Resources. Thank you all for your support. This year, I have the pleasure and great privilege to serve as chair of the board for your North Orange County Chamber. Let me begin my brief remarks by asking you to please join me in a virtual round of applause for our outgoing chair, Mr. Michael Williams. Michael provided our chamber with outstanding leadership this past year. Under his leadership, the chamber moved its offices and significantly reduced the amount we pay in rent. He also led our efforts to reach out and collaborate with a number of chambers in the region, enabling us to promote and provide more services to our members and assist in regional economic development. The lesson learned was quite clear. We are stronger together. As we progress further into this decade, that lesson becomes pivotal as we address a number of challenges, such as doing business differently, promoting and realizing workforce and economic development, and responding to the demands for social justice. As business leaders, I believe we are uniquely positioned to assist in identifying creative ways to foster open and honest conversations, and to take actions to address and heal the deep divides facing our community and our nation. We are stronger together. In its 125-year history, your chamber has been a trusted partner for businesses, large and small, public and private, for-profit and not-for-profit, providing technical support and regional collaboration. Again, I say, we are stronger together. As we gradually begin our recovery from this pandemic, your chamber is providing leadership in raising the voices of our varied and diverse business communities and responding with the creation of public forums to understand the economic implications the pandemic has had in our region and the demands for our ultimate recovery. The pandemic has substantially hurt our small businesses and the families that rely on them for food on the table. Our success in responding to this challenge will require us all to work together as a team, for none of us can solve this issue by ourselves. We are stronger together. Your chamber will continue its effort to find new ways to elevate the value proposition of small businesses by connecting them with opportunities to thrive. Thus, I propose 3 initiatives for this coming year. Number 1, resource development. The pandemic has affected and will continue to affect us this coming year. Finding alternative revenue and grant writing are the tools we'll be using to try and supplement our lost revenue. Number 2, technology and communication. The pandemic has also created a radical shift in the way businesses will be done in the future. Our new normal will see much increased use of technology to bring folks together. Reimagining our work, our outreach, and marketing effort is our pledge to individually and collectively respect the health and safety of our members and their employees. Number 3, workforce and economic development. As an educator, I say in the most clear terms possible that we need to hear from the business community to ensure the relevance of our programs. We look forward to the expanded use of technology in search and discovery of ways to collaborate in continually building our world-class workforce and in sharpening our regional competitiveness. I believe these are lofty goals, and I'm sure all of you agree with me that the challenges ahead of us will be hard. But I believe we can achieve these goals because we are stronger together. In closing, if you have a glass, please raise it with me to salute our outgoing chair and board members and welcome the incoming board. May our efforts this year strengthen our alliances as we work together to become stronger. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Li Bugg. Such a great message, and thank you so much for your leadership at the North Orange County Community College District and in taking on something that you didn't have to, but that because you're so community minded, you wanted to, the North Orange County Chamber. So I'm so looking forward to working with you over this next year. And with that, I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Teresa Harvey to give, I believe we're going to give, we have a drawing from our speaker, and she has some other things that we're going to take care of tonight. So Teresa, back to you. Thanks for letting me join you tonight. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Jennifer. And again, thank you for your leadership and participating as our convener this evening. Thank you to all of you who are here with us too. It is great to look out there and see the sea of people that are joining us on a Thursday night when I'm sure you have a lot of other things. And if you're like me, you have been on meetings all day long. A huge thank you to Sarah McKelvey and Natalie Nuska, who have worked behind the scenes, making sure and being patient with me as I am the dinosaur in the room whenever we talk about technology with them. Thank you for catching me up and making sure that we could present this. Although we don't want to think we will convene like this forever, programs similar to these will be the new normal, at least for now. We look forward, as Michael said, to presenting our SHE program in August, but you don't have to wait that long to get together and network with your chamber friends. We are hosting a virtual wine tasting next week on June 18th in conjunction with Gina David at Vina Nostra. So you can go to our website and look at the calendar and register for this opportunity as we cruise the Mediterranean and taste wines in every port. We'll also continue our North Orange County Leads group virtually, so we invite you to be a part of that. As promised, Gary has offered to sign 3 books and personalize them for the recipients, and we are absolutely thrilled to have had him on with us today. So he's going to be donating 3 copies of Helping People Win at Work. And those individuals chosen randomly are Joyce Capel from Crittenton Services and a past chair of the Chamber Board. Sally Williams, none other than the mother of our outgoing chair, Michael Williams, and Irma Ramos. So Irma Ramos, that too will be coming forward to you. I thank you again. Remember, we are stronger together. We have some great programs we're going to be presenting coming up. Stronger Together, Fullerton Strong. We have a series of these planned for every community throughout our region. So thank you, all of you, for being a part of the team that makes our chamber strong. And have a great night. Go spend some time with those you love. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good night. Go ahead, unmute before they turn this meeting off.
Everybody,
Thank you,
unmute
Teresa.
everybody, Natalie.
Bye.
Put all the
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Bye, everyone.
It's good to see you. Beth Swift from Buena Park on the City Council there. Great to see you.
Great presentation.
Hi, Owen.
We'll let him know. It's suddenly a lot quieter.
We want more Owen.
Staff, good job.
Yeah, that's
Natalie and Sarah, good job.
Thank you.
Yes,
Good job, guys. Staff did awesome.
Caroline.
Very good. Very good.
See, no one wants to leave. We might.
I know, this is great. You guys can hang out all night. We have a good time with it. Yes, have a good time.
See you later.
Back to our LaCroix and our water bottles here.
I got my virtual background, and now I'm going to go get my literal glass of wine.
Good, good.
Hey, guys.
Say hi.
Christopher.
Bye.
Christopher, I'm glad you made an event finally.
All your work, man.
Bye.
All right.
Oh, thank you, everybody.